said Peri as she slipped on an overcoat of ridiculously large proportions. "This reflects my new lifestyle," the Time Lord announced. "Recently I've been taking too many risks. These accoutrements are a reminder that I must slow down, stabilize and be more careful. In other words, this is my new belt and braces approach." For once, the TARDIS was working smoothly. The time ratchets purred with satisfaction. The balance clamps were oscillating to perfection. In the time machine's well-appointed galley, the range's oven cooked impeccably. The Doctor was preparing breakfast. To be exact, he was cooking a nut roast. Having recently become a vegetarian, the Time Lord now made this dish for breakfast every Wednesday. Even though it was an unusually early hour to be eating such a heavy meal, Peri found the dish a truly scrummy experience. As the Doctor removed the roast from the oven, a bell tinkled somewhere. This told them that the TARDIS was approaching its destination. After placing the roasting tray on a heat-proof mat, he and Peri made their way to the console room. Displayed on the scanner screen was the image of a pretty blue and white planet hanging in deep, dark space. Peri stared at the screen. "Hey, it looks a little like Earth." Her New York accent pinged around the room, its timbre seeming much more abrasive than usual. "I hope the indigenous population is friendlier than those we've encountered recently." The Doctor smiled. "You shouldn't have any problems?" "Oh, sure, like I've never heard that before." "It's true," said the Time Lord, fine-tuning the landing coordinates. "Because where we're going, the population is mostly dead, or in suspended animation." That piece of information didn't make Peri feel any happier. Down on the planet's surface, it continued to snow. It had been doing so all night. Heaped and piled, as though by a million tiny shovels, the snow was now being levelled by a brisk, icy wind. Otherwise it was quiet, the snow muffling rather than reflecting the sounds of the developing day. A watery sun had also started to rise, spreading its thin light across the terrain and creating long, attenuated shadows. The planet was called Necros. It was approximately the size of Mars and with an atmosphere much like Earth's. The key geographical differences were that Necros had 3 moons, and its seas were without salt. Of its 2 major industrial enterprises, the biggest and most successful boasted the finest funerary ceremonies in the galaxy. It offered a unique end-of-life service known as the Posture for Perpetual Instatement. This attracted the rich, the famous, and the powerful. The name of this facility was Tranquil Repose, although it was known by its employees as TR. The strange thing was, it was neither tranquil nor reposed. It was a mystery how long TR had existed on Necros. Archaeology suggested the oldest part was at least 1,000 years old and unimaginatively known as the Old Catacombs. The development of massive underground extensions and the endless arbitrary jerry-building had resulted in an intermingling and confusion of the structures. Every architectural style ever practiced in the 12 galaxies had been incorporated. In spite of this jumble, or because of it, a weird ambience had come about over the years. The upper levels of Tranquil Repose were simpler but less interesting in design. Built soon after the arrival of its new director, the Great Healer, as he liked to be called, this area was known as the New Catacombs. It was an uninspiring and joyless complex that was admired by few. A short thruster ride from Tranquil Repose was a series of buildings called Kara's Kitchen. This was the other key industry of the planet. Here, food, largely in the form of edible synthetic protein, was produced on a vast scale for sale to the local solar.